Excited himself, and that's the thing for the captain then, to go back and deliver that message and deliver that final message that sometimes the players don't really take in because they're so focused on what they need to do for themselves and for the team early on in this game.
Gerard Healy, Brad Johnson with us tonight in commentary. Barry Hall, as you saw, our star-studded experts to bring you all the analysis and have a look at these youngsters in action, and there's plenty of them for both sides, particularly for the Brisbane Lions, and a lot to prove. I guess they get their opportunity in front of the new coach, Justin Leppich. Have an extra here, Cheney. He'll be in amongst those battling for Brent Guerra's spot, I suppose, off half-back. Talking about the handball, there it is on display for the Hawks. Shields was uncertain what to do. In the end, he decided to lay it off, and the kick came in from Simpkin, and it fell beautifully for Gunston, who kicked more goals than anyone else clearly in the final series of season 2013, and he starts the new season in a similar way.
Another medal on grand final day, but it's just going to be a learning curve, and that time for Ryan Harwood, you've got to connect with those spoils, otherwise it drops to a dangerous. Get more opportunity to push forward too with a more dominant side that he's playing in. But I think when you're talking about McAvoy, as we have another look at a shot at goal, good decision to centre the ball. That is class stuff.
Yeah, it was, and again Gunston in the right spot. Luke Bruce knows how to kick
very well here, so that's just the early running ability that Gunston needs to produce.
Well, on most occasions he is a sharp shooter, Jack Gunston, and there he is displaying it. He's kicked two already, and it's been a terrific story for Hawthorn fans. Jack Gunston, what a recruit he ended up being from the Adelaide Crows, as we've discussed. He started as a very skinny young man, Jono, back in 2010, played just 14 games in 2 seasons, did kick a bag of goals on a couple of occasions, and Hawthorn saw the ability, inherited a famous number at the Hawks. Of course, he had that crucial miss late in the 2012 grand final against the Swans, but in 2013, as Gerard mentioned, could well have walked away with the medal for the best on ground for Norm Smith, but he'll take the premiership medal and 4 goals from that grand final. So Jack Gunston already with a different opponent. Well, there's Buddy's old number. We mentioned what an honour it is and a big ask for Tim O'Brien to wear the famous number 23. Good body strength from Hale. Has he marked it? He has now.
Made him work, but it was a good call from the umpire.
So David Hale, 29 years of age now, kicked 20 goals, 26 last year, so he actually had a pretty ordinary season in front of goal in terms of accuracy, but that one's in the book. And the Hawks have got 3 goals. The Lions 1-1-7.
Well, they have started well, the Hawks, but over the off-season, of course, there's plenty of departures. A few
with
players.
The footy. Young defender from the TAC Cup from last year, and they've got themselves into a little bit of trouble. And now Bruce ready to pounce. And a big opportunity. Puopolo share it around. Isaac Smith will finish it off, and the Hawks have got 4.
Well, they've been unselfish early in this game, the Hawks, Gerard, obviously before with Bruce.
Should be given the protection that a mark gives you on the back of a 10-metre kick.
Holding the
that we just saw. 15 metres.
Yep.
We just saw a handball from Sam Mitchell. I've often thought it. I think if you can just chip a kick 15 metres, you shouldn't be given any latitude whatsoever. Because
Lewis, he's got that one through. Outstanding kick, shows others how to do it. And the Hawks have got 5 and lead by 25.
And what a play.
Bombs it up to the wing. Henderley did well in the air first time. He's taken on 2 Lions there. Golby stuck underneath, and he's won it too. Won the free. So well done to Kurt Heatherly.
He's done quite well in this first quarter. He'll look at his vision. How was he nervous leading into the night?
He was pretty calm, actually. I just pretty much said to him that, look, the reason why he got his spot is because we know he's aggressive, and when he it's a nice little goal there by Ruff again. He's on continued on from last year. But yeah, Kurt, as you've seen in the first quarter, if he backs himself, he'll commit exactly the same every game, every stoppage. Sorry.
A couple of interesting kicks there from either side. Paparone fighting on, wins the battle at least in the short term. But now the Hawks can swarm again. Henderley off to Rioli. Oh, anything could happen from here. Go, Cyril, give us something exciting at the start of the year. Decides to handball, which is a little disappointing, I've got to say. Roughhead kicks towards full forward, and Langford takes the mark. There's a good Hawthorn name, and there's a good Hawthorn goal.
And they should all run back and say that was your goal, Kiwi, because that's where it started.
As you see, they're all defenders go and pat him on the back, but the mids and the forwards just worry about who kicks the goal. So it shows the mindset of the mids and the forwards, I think.
Very unselfish though in the early part of today's game. Obviously in the first quarter, Bruce getting it over to Gunston. There was the other one from
last year, Jiraiya, who had to wait 2 or 3 years to get his opportunity. Hodgie, and really took it, didn't he?
Yeah, he came in last year. I think he played 18 games, so another one who was unlucky towards the end of the year. But you're right, he had 3 or 4 years of playing consistent footy at Box Hill, and when he did get his opportunity, he played some really good footy last year.
That's it, John.
Jonathan Simpkin, he was lucky enough to come in straight away and become a premiership player.
He had a not a bad end of the year, I think. Played the VFL Grand Final, and then 6 days later decided to back it up and come and win an AFL Premiership medal as well.
And here he is shooting for goal, and shooting pretty well. Hawthorn right on top.
And Hodgie, there's a lot been spoken about the interchange cap. Are you for it or against it?
that great form, and he's just a deadly kick.
Yeah, exactly right. We had 4 guys last year who unfortunately did their knee. 2 of them are playing tonight in Alex Woodward, who did 2 in a row, and then of course Suckers. But we've got Shuey, who's back into full training and looking to play in the next few weeks, and then obviously Brendan Whitecross, who is a little bit away. But as you said, Jared, there's a nice guy.
We've had a fair bit of commentary practice over summer.
A little bit of size, but very team orientated, and a very nice mark.
Does he have a strut like Buddy or not?
No one has a strut like Buddy, but it would be. It's a very good feeling, I'd say, rocking up to your first game.
In coaching or in commentary?
Right, every time I back Haley, he normally drifts it off out to the right. So I'm tipping he's going to run in. It's going to be a slight little fade and just miss to the right, I reckon.
Well, that's
the confidence. That's the confidence for the ruckman.
He's gone the reverse.
He's running in. He's running towards the points and straight through the middle. No doubt he'll remind me about that on Monday. But he's another one who come across who's a fantastic shot for goal. 27 years old, so this has got a lot of footy ahead of him. And then the blokes, Suckers and Stratton, Schoenmakers are all 23, 24.
Well, magnificent field kicking display here at the present time, not just by the old blokes, but also by the youngsters, and continuing to do the unexpected. You cannot...
This one I'll definitely back Hilly. He doesn't miss too many of these. Oh, my God. Lucky, just snuck it in.
Now, speaking of youngsters, it's time to play trivia, boys.
He'll be dashing. He'll give the ball, get it back. Very Boomer Harvey-like.
Yeah, he was wanting it there. I reckon Hill was remembering exactly what you were talking about.
Still a chance.
And he's pushed him, or trying to get that handball received from Hilly.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Segler's subbed into the game as well. Can you tell us a little bit about him, Hodgie?
Yeah, Segs, he played a couple of games last year. Big, solid ruck, can take a good contested mark up forward. So he'll be predominantly playing ruck, but then probably mixing with either Benny McAvoy or Haley. No, he probably got sub for one of them just then. Yeah, we have our community camp down at Tasmania. We play next Friday, the 21st, down there against North Melbourne, and then we'll stay down there for 3 days and get around as much Tasmania as we can, because we've been down to Tasmania for, I think, 13 years now. And our relationship...
Numbers, 77 plays 8. I wonder what the record NAB challenge margin is. I reckon someone got the sack. That was Wayne Schimmelbusch.
It was in Adelaide.
After a smashing in one of the pre-season games. So there's a smart
Justin Leppich's first game.
I wasn't suggesting that would happen to Justin Leppich. That would be harsh. Now, we haven't mentioned too much about...
he's reacted from the knee reconstructions, but the fact of from his first day, his attitude to training, and then his attitude to his rehab, it's been very impressive from a young guy.
There's a couple of big names big-name juniors who are hoping...
Suckling for 9, Jared. And that's a super goal, and it's just super to see him back, and that left foot going to be very handy, Hodgie, during the year.
Yeah, and as you see there, the players, I think there's no person you want to see out there more than Suckling. It's just what he can do with the ball and the kind of bloke he is. So you can see every bloke on the ground pretty much.
Outside 50, and he just booms away. I know Jason Dunstall won't like anybody kicking around the corner, but... it's amazing how every other ball sport kicks around the corner, and left footers seem to do it because they're told not to kick straight when they're youngsters. But nevertheless, it's
the voice of Jed Adcock, the Lions skipper, with us in this third term, as the Hawks continuing on from where they left off by the look of it, as Gunston takes the Marston, who aims this one up from just inside the 50. There's a perfect look at it, and the perfect result for the Hawks, and the lead now out to 90 points.
Well, they started so well in the first quarter, exactly the same way.
Transition for the Hawks because they've got some numbers, a plethora on this side. Gunston can use Hill. Handball, a little bit much air on it, I think, than he would have liked, but still able to carve out a clever little kick, and Shields will go back and have the shot.
I guess he's got that, what's the word? He's got the, help me out here, will you? He's got the flexibility. Yeah, sorry, to to play tall and but also to turn around and pick the ball up at ground level. So
Shields kicks the goal. That's one rule of commentary.
Just swing around and get a free run up the middle.
Buick takes the mark for the Brisbane Lions. Oh, there's an opportunity for Roughead here. And he's done well to get it to his own advantage onto the left boot. Kept Burke guessing. He puts it through. The Hawks lead by 105. Right, Jeb, we're going to turn the clock. Here's Wanganeen. Opens the path for Woodward. Now Lewis. Up it goes again. Great early body work. And that was why he was able to take such a comfortable...
It's that pure strength up against a young player in Jordan Burke. And that was the experience that really stood out on that occasion.
hopefully, hopefully, and I think they're all pretty fit at the moment too. So we definitely haven't put our strongest team on the paddock tonight, but we've still got to come out and play. I mean, they're playing against a premiership team tonight, but we've still got to turn up and play. But we need some more inexperienced kids to be able to stand up, because there'll be some injuries that happen through the year, so we need to grow some depth.
Again, we're seeing this almost ad nauseum, to the top of the square, We're not seeing check side kicks, we're not seeing around the corner boomerangs, etc. That's a new level of discipline of the leadership, and they talk a hell of a lot about culture, but what it ends up coming down to is actions, not words.
High ball into the 50. Oh, there's a strong mark.
And it's Segler. It's a great mark from Segler.
Under the pressure on the ground and under the pressure off the ground when those decisions are made, Jono.
Yes.
And you know the decisions I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Segler guides it through skillfully. And the Hawks certainly want some more goals before the end of the night.
They've racked up his teammate to come in and grab possession of the ball.
So the margin, 111. Rioli. And the Hawks can raffle.
He's got enormous talent. You can see that on display tonight.
Well, they actually had to delist him at the end of the year to be able to re-rookie him, because he'd been a rookie for the amount of time that he was allowed to.
And one or two others, but what we're seeing here at Brisbane is really just that lambs to the slaughter stuff.
Well, it is.
Is there any negative long-term effects on that, or even medium-term effects?
It's just a build, because they'll probably win next week, Brisbane. They might get 6 or 7 senior players back and senior bodies around them, I think, because they'll be able to control different situations a lot better, especially some competitive situations where they've just been outclassed tonight, and that's just the nature of the side that they're playing in Hawthorn are pretty strong.
Shields slots another goal, and the margin now up to 124 points. Yeah, and that's interesting because, as you said, Gerard, last
you can see what they're trying to do here, the Brisbane Lions, but those handballs are just so sloppy that it's breaking down, and that's what's got to get better. You're going to have to play with fatigue, and your skill level has to stay high.
And it stayed pretty high for the Hawks. Isaac Smith lands one, and the margin creeps over the 130-point mark now to 130.